Hello everyone, I'm Scott and welcome to my channel. So in this video, I will show you how to set up the ROS environment in Jupyter Lab for data science. So Python has been a popular choice for data scientists due to its simplicities and numerous libraries available. However, recent years, ROS is emerging as a strong contender with its strong memory safety guarantees and efficient performance and parallelisms. So ROS may have like a few libraries and tools available compared to Python at the moment, but this is changing as ROS growing in popularities. So in this video, I'll walk you through the process with local VS Code and also for the Github Codespace, which will allow you to actually develop on your iPad, or other tablet, or even on your phone. So let's get started. So first, I will walk you through the process for setting up the Jupyter Lab environment, and then I will show you how to install Anaconda's ROS and some necessary ROS library for data science. So once the environment is set up, I will demonstrate how to read the data from a CSV file and perform some basic cleaning and then some manipulations. So, I mean, there may be some challenges and difference compared to doing the same task in Python, but the benefit for using the ROS for data science are certainly worth exploring. So let's dive into it to see how to set up the ROS in Jupyter Lab. Okay, let's actually getting started. So firstly, what we want to do is we want to just create the environment and like a configure for the conda. So what we do is just conda create. We can just call it like darn, which is the short version of data analyze with a ROS notebook. And then we do the Python environment equal to Python 3, and just ask you if yes, since I was creating one before, so they ask me if I want to remove it, create a new one. So yeah, by the way, this is on the local VS Code, so it's in your own system. For me, I was using the mic. But for some people, you probably need to install the Anaconda first, just the mini conda, I mean. So it will be allowing you to actually using the conda environment for the Python. So after we create the environment, we can just active it. So we just do the conda active done, and so you see here we're changing from the base to done, so it should be working now. So the next step in here, we just need to install the Jupyter Lab. So what we do is conda install C, and then conda forge with a Jupyter Lab, and it should be work. Yeah, it done, and then let's check it out first. So yeah, here is my local environment. It will be directly running the I already installed the ROS in the system, so it will be directly showing me the ROS in here. But I will demonstrate to you I'll walk you through the process. When you first install the Jupyter Lab, the ROS will be not included, but what you need to do is just going back, and what we can do is we just stop the kernel here, and the next step we just what we want to do is basically in here you see we're having some different themes in here, and I'm not really like it. So basically I want to install some new themes like the purple one. So let me show you how to really do it. So we just need to do Jupyter extension, and then install out. purple. Purple and then pink, please, if I remember right. Yeah, we should be installed the purple theme for the Jupyter Lab, and we can change in the theme after we log in after. But after this, we're just gonna install the Rust in the Jupyter Lab. So what we need to do, this will probably taking a while, and let's just close in this one first. So what we need to do is we need to go to the Rust long org. So basically, this is where we install the Rust. So just copy paste up this code, and then come back here and paste it. And so you will like directly install the Rust environment in your Jupyter Lab. So you can just do first with the default. Yeah, it will directly download the Rust for you. It's just like super simple, easy, just like one click, one line code. So you can just install the Rust in the whole system. So I will just redo it, but I think I already have it in the system. But if you don't, just install it. Yeah, so after you're done, you can just configure your current shares using the source code. So it will be directly install the cargo environment in your Jupyter Lab. So the next step is just we need to install some the Jupyter EVCXR, which is a kind of like a package to actually execute the Rust code in the Jupyter Notebook. So what you need to do is here is just cargo and install. It's called the EVCXR Jupyter. So it will be installing this one. So I already installed it in my system. So if you don't, this probably will taking a while. But next one will be just the EVCXR Jupyter and install. So yeah, I already installed that as well, but you need to go through this process to actually execute the Rust code in the Jupyter Lab. So next one, what you could do is Jupyter Lab, just run the lab again. So now you should be having the purple theme and also for the Rust setting up in your environment. Yeah, that's pretty much how you can do the things in the local machine. And the same way, what we can do is we just gonna do in the on the Codespace, which is on your GitHub. So you just log into your GitHub and go to your repositories. Now let me make sure if my Codespace is running. So the Codespace is what we're gonna using. So this is basically the same thing as the VS Code, but it's online. You can getting access in everywhere that you want to. So what you can do is you can just like getting a new repository and just name it Jupyter Lab and Rust. So setting public and add a README, and lesson we just go to Python and in here it doesn't really matter. We can just do the create comment, and they will ask me, oh, this is already exists, so I just do one. So we create the repository. So now when everything's set, you just click your code. Here you get a Codespace choice. You can just like directly hit the plus, or in here you can just like new with the option. So they offer you for the two core or the 4 cores for free. But if you want to get more, you can just connect with them. So we just create the Codespace in here. This will take a while. Probably will refresh a while again. So let's see how it goes. Okay, there we go. So we just repeat the processing here. But for the code space, we don't really have in the conda inside. So basically what you need to do first is just grab the mini conda environment. I would just copy the code in here. You can just plus whenever you need to actually copy the code. So for me is I having a mic, but you need to figure out the miniconda environment yourself on miniconda.com to actually figure it out. So I need to just grab the wig from here and then just using the chamo to get in the package, and then we can install it for the miniconda. So miniconda will be content for all the things that you need for the Python environment. So user will offer you with the different packages and the different things we're gonna be using in the Python. So you just go through everything, and will be in the end will ask you if you can install. So you just type yes, and it will be directly press enter. It will be install everything for you. So with the conda, so before we don't have in the conda, we already have in the condas in the environment, so we don't really need to go through this process. And for here is on the Codespace, everything is brand new, so you need to install the mini conda strings here. So the next step, we just repeat what we have before. We can just using conda to create DOM Python 3 or Python equal to 3. So after creating the environment, so same thing here, we can just using conda active for the DOM, just copy paste. So you say here is you're having some problem here. So what you need to do is basically open a new terminal and just paste what you had before to actually activate it. I could not find it. So what we need to do, so what we need to do in here is basically using conda active and pass to the environment would be just we can just copy and paste it. So it was installed in the different places. So now it's changed. So you see we changing from the base to the DOM again. So the next step, so our next step just repeat what we had before. We can just install for the Jupyter Lab. Yeah, now it's set. Then we can just do the Jupyter Lab. And before everything, we need to install for the our Rust. So basically, we just copy and paste this again. And this time we just go here and install the Rust. Yeah, compared with the local machine, this will be much slower. But if you're upgrading for your own machine, like 16 gig, it will be way faster and it's super convenient. Okay, after we installing here, we can just to config our current shell into the cargo. So now and we can just install the cargo. Install CXR Jupyter. Yeah, this will take a while. Yeah, let's let it run first, and from here we can just dive into our code part. I was showing you how we're gonna read the CSV file. So what I have in here is our Jupyter Lab. So we already installed. Let me just adding a Rust folder here, and let's go through and let's getting a new Rust file. And what we can do here is basically let me upload it new CSV files from my local. So this is a CSV file about the apartment cost list. So we can take a look at the data itself. It contains like several different columns. I getting this data frame from the cargo. It contains like multiple different columns with all the informations about apartment cost. So what we're gonna do is firstly we will need to read it in for our packages. So now this is like my local environment, so it'll be kind of like faster than the Codespace at the moment. But what we need to do is basically we need to just finding out getting the dependencies, and the dependency we're using here is called a Polar. Polars. This kind of like a packages to read the CSV, so we can get in the version equal to, if I believe this right, is 2.23.2, and then the features gonna using will be like, okay, so let's go with lazy, and we're using the CSV as well. CSV file, and I believe this too should be enough for us. That's adding the list strings, and also let's adding the rank. I think probably the list. Yeah, that should be enough. And then we just run it. And when you run it, you can just hit the Shift Enter, so it will be directly run. And after this is like the loading the dependencies, the same working process as what we did for the cargo terminal files. But in the terminal file is like we need to write in the dependencies line by line in the terminal file. But in here is like you can just like getting whatever the package that you want into the Jupyter Lab. So after it's done, what we need to do is we need to use the polos, and what we just give it some time to let it to install. So we can go back to checking here is working properly. Save the files, everything was loading, working properly, and at the same time we can just go back to check. Is it's still like installing the our packages, so it's like high CPU working, because as I said, this is like a local machine. So yeah, just give it some time to run, and give you some time for running this as well. Oh yeah, so now it goes through. So after that, we can just using the Polo packages in here. So that next step, we just let our data set equal to CSV file reader, I believe, and from pass. And what we need to do is, because we're saving the CSV file at the same place as what we have in here, so we can just copy the name and the CSV. So this will be directly reading the CSV file from our folder. So, and for the dataset cell we like has header equal to true and finish with question mark and then goes to lazy. So this is like using the lazy mode to actually loading our like kind of like a preview for our dataset. Cannot automatically determine type of dataset. Did I type something wrong in here? Oh, let me put a question mark after here. Oh yeah, now it's rolling through. So next step, that's using the data frame equal to dataset. We just clone what we have and then go a filter. Let's getting things in the filter. Let's do a column. Then what we're having here, we can just choosing for whatever we need. In here, we can just choosing for kind of like a categorical data. So in here, we can probably pick like job type. So we can just choosing for the column as job, like that, job type. And making it to equal to, we can just picking anything. So in the job type, we can just picking A1, A2, or they have like a multiple things. We can just picking for A1. And then it should be done. Oh wait, I forgot to add it. It's like equal, we also need to put delete before that. And making it close. So this will be just like filter for all the A1 informations, like all the job type with A1, like A1 job type, yeah. So this will be giving us for the data set, and then we can do with column, column, and then goes to let's do column. Let's picking another one for example, like what we're having here is like let's do house number. Column house number. Wait, I need to add the mark house number, because what we're having here is the house number, or those things that we firstly reading in is all string. It's not like we need to emphasize for the type of the data. So in here we want to do is changing the string to the the int or the float. So what we need to do in here is we're gonna using the cast for data type, and then we go with the int 32. Might need to do this in 32, and then I will having and name it aliens as house number 8. Okay. And then same thing if we want to choosing for some other part, for example, like initial cost is gonna be kind of important for this data set. So so we're having with column, and then we do column, same thing before initial cost, and then you can just copy paste this one here, and then changing this one as initial cost. Yeah, int. So the next step is we can do another like a group by with the chunk of the, we can do column like we can base on the for example the prof. So we can do here. And the next part, aggregate. Aggregate with we can make it as an array with all the column that we need to. So this will be actually, let me finish here. Initial cost int, and then goes to, we can get the mean number from them, and then do name it, and then as average, and then we can do another one. We can just copy paste this things. Actually, can paste again, so we can do a mean and the max. So this will be the mean, this will be the max. Okay, and the last part we can just sort it for what we have. Sort by just sorting with probably based on our average. So sort by experts is then doing like a column average, and then we can have in the VEC doing that, and then goes to true. Okay, so false. And the last step, we can just do making the limit as 5. Probably 5. And then now we define our data frame. So that is what we want to. Basically, this is more like a SQL. So it's more like a writing out SQL for using the ROS to reading the data frame. So now we have in the df, so we can do the collect. So the collect will be based on the just giving out what we have for all the process that we doing before for the data set. So when we run it, okay, so we got some mistake. Oh, did I? Maybe I was missing for average this part. Let me see what I've got. Sort by experts. Experience. Column average. Yeah. True, false. Okay, so it seems like I was missing a comment somewhere. Okay, unexpected token. Let me redo this. Now it's running. Okay. So now we got out the F. So it should be printing out. DF not a value. Mm. Oh, okay. So now we have our table. So now you can see we're actually grouping by our data by the growth, and it's like all the different industries, names, stuff, and then we go with the average, and then just getting from the biggest to the smallest, and on average, and then we also get the mean and max. So this kind of like a more like a SQL process, but this is how you can actually reading the tables from the using the Rust to actually developing like what you need. So yeah, let's okay, let's go back to checking here. It should be ready. Okay, so it's done. So what we need to do okay, so here we are actually install, right? Let me check what we do. Yeah, so we're actually install. Okay, so then what we need to do is basically getting this and then install it. Okay, now it's complete. Then we can run our Jupyter Lab. So now this is a different environment. This is on the Codespace, so you can access this from your laptop from everywhere that you want to. So we can just open it up. Okay, so here will be the same process. We'll come back and copy our token, and then come back in here, and then we can change our password. So it will be directly running. So now you say, yeah, we're having the Rust and Python thing in the Codespace. I think it's a really good way to actually start to learn the Rust using this way, since you can get in the assets from everywhere you need. Even on your iPad, you can just just starting doing it. So I think it's pretty much cool for me to actually developing in everywhere. And I think Rust is super powerful for actually running what do we want, and it's kind of like I would not say it's kind of like a replacement for the Python, but it's definitely having a more efficient way to actually gathering all the informations or doing the process of the analyze. So I think it's gonna be having like a lot of future. So so this is everything I have for today. So I will continue to doing and updating my videos regarding with the Python and Rust and Codespace and everything. So basically just follow up. So thank you guys.